PTG, Proxy Table Gaming, we are back. I'm Hyper G, you are Lucky Sixes.
Yes, I'm Lucky Sixes.
You haven't done one of your weird little things for a while. It seems to have been in the house and all that shouting sort of stuff.
Yeah,
But
just
that
shout
was a
normally.
different one.
This is the
Yeah.
creepy, some would say, Vermin-like.
Oh, I see. Gotcha. If I could wink without looking like an absolute idiot, then I would, right? Like that. In fact, yeah. Yeah, so we are here with a battle report
Yes!
of the most scurriest kind.
Hmm.
Because what are we battling? What is this, a continuation of a certain
Yes,
fun
so,
time you had?
it seems ages ago now, but we went
Was
away, and obviously there was a few of us there, and I couldn't battle every time. We were doing all the things. So Tony was checking out the
Tony.
vermin swarms. If you've seen our last battle report, you'll see the nice city of town of Matlock, because
Yeah.
the battle was so quick, because they just
Yeah.
destroyed my beast head. So
Although, didn't people in the comments try to suggest that that town didn't actually exist
yeah,
and you were lying
I'm
about
lying
your?
about my.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm pretty sure it's Matlock. Matlock, and
Well, you were somewhere anyway.
it's the town of the swans and the bikes, basically. There you go.
Yeah.
It's got like a train station, so I was pretty sure that's what it is. But I don't know. Maybe I'm getting it wrong. I don't think I am. But when someone asks, when you're 100% sure, and then someone says, and you're like, well, I'm pretty sure I'm right, but. I don't know. But anyway,
That's like me during most night phase battles against demons.
yeah.
Except I don't start off 100% right.
Yeah.
So.
Right.
Like
But yeah,
10%.
so they smashed me in the thing, and then Paul wanted a game against Tony, and I said, yeah, I'll play as well, and I'm helping Tony out because he's a noob apparently with Vermin Swans.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
So the vampire list that goes up against the dreaded Vermin, controlled by Paul, was
Ooh, this is
double
interesting.
necromancer and triple monstrous revenant.
Oh.
All about 300 points each.
Yeah.
It's fairly cheap for what it does. Loads of strength 7.
Monstrous Revenant. I don't think I've seen one of those before.
Flying.
Is that
strength,
the old abyssal horror? Is it?
Yeah, that's exactly
Ah.
right. But they're pretty cheap. They're
Exactly right.
Four
Yes.
up, save, res 5. Nothing much to them, but obviously decent on
And they count as
attack and
cavalry,
stuff.
do they? As opposed to.
Monstrous beast, I think.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So the idea is you can put them as a unit or put them separate, however you like.
Okay.
Unit ghouls, unit skeletons, big unit of ghasts, 2 unit of great bats, so very good chaff, and 2
And 2
shrieking horrors.
Yowza.
So I guess the idea
This
with
is a very poor list, isn't it?
the idea with the shrieking horrors is obviously you've got the 2 necromancers that can just raise, and so that's the plan with it. But yeah, it's a cool list. It's a cool list for sure. The Vermin Swarms is the same list that just desiccated the beasts.
Desiccated?
Is that a word?
Well, it is a word, but I think you probably meant decimated.
What's desiccated?
Like dismember?
Well, that was close.
Same.
Yeah, they did both. That's how good they were.
Dissected? It's another one. I might be even getting my definitions confused. Hey, we're all about accuracy here at PTG.
Yeah, that's. So the same list. Big Vermin Demon, Plague Patriarch, which I just think is so good. Just mad. Big unit of rat arms and some footpads and Plague Brotherhood in the core. 2 units of Plague Disciples. Gut Blades, Jezzails, Dreadmill, and 2 catapults.
Your worst nightmare.
You feel filthy.
The whole list, not just the catapults.
You do feel filthy. But I suppose you're meant to.
Yeah.
Encircle was a deployment, and interestingly, capture the flags, which actually, for us, as the Vermins meant we had 3 units of footpads that we couldn't really get into the game because if we did, they'd lose. And they'd gone. And for Paul, he's only got 2 scoring.
Oh.
So
you got to choose one.
So we got to choose one. So both of us, actually, this was a weird a secondary objective for us. So to add things into the mix, there's Paul with his list.
There's not enough beer bottles for a weekend away, guys, or unless you've
it was
them out of there.
It was 12 o'clock, so
on day 2. Come on.
Oh no, we got rid of it. Anyway, so this is our deployment.
I like that you've got a wooden box of models on top of a hob.
Oh yeah, right. What could go wrong? That's my beast actually.
Yeah.
I brought my warriors as well for this weekend, just in case.
Okay. You felt worried out.
Well, yeah. Anyway, back to battle.
Sorry.
We deployed first, had a little bit of 1-2 in, and then we dropped for first. Basically to see if we could divination and shoot him up.
Yes, divination would be handy.
Start that business. We nominated one of the bats for the scoring so that he would potentially not use it as chaff and help us out later on. And this is where we are. He put his 3 Monstrous Revenant characters as a unit. He obviously dropped them after we dropped, so just put them well away from the sails or anything and behind a hill, so protecting them somewhat. But yeah, as vampires are, all in a group, really. This is our turn 1, with sun beaming down.
You've got Undying Dynasty's Vermin Swarms.
Oh yeah. Well, so
Paul and Tony do know how to proxy it.
The main thing we were doing was trying to come up with a UD list for Paul. Sorry, for Tony. But we just couldn't decide on what would be good.
You said that in the last
part, so obviously we didn't have Vermin Swarms things, but we did notice that we have enough models to do Vermin Swarms, so that's what this is. And it's Proxy table game, come on.
Of course it is.
So yeah, we just move up like this so that we are in range of the Terrorgeists with certain things and blah blah blah. Just shuffle really, but as you can see, all the footpads are over this side, basically hiding and being out of the game. We did put disciples on either side of our flanks just to protect us a little bit from him coming down one of those, but yeah, there you go. So interestingly, in our first one, we got an Erring Strike off, but being as it was a triple and only with 3 dice, it went down to 4s, which means we forgot it for the whole battle.
That's unfortunate.
Which is it's a really big spell to lose. Actually, so really, I don't know. Like I say, I was the Vermin Swarm player, but I was quite like, oh yes, that evens it up a bit, you know. So especially against vampires when we've got a lot of range. So yeah, that's out of the game. So we'll have to think a bit different from that. But we did get it off, and as you can see in the next thing,
how many dots are there?
Loads of dots. This from our catapult, doing about 10 wounds.
11 dots.
11. That's it.
Just saying, get it right.
Just saying. But yeah, so there we go. I don't think an Erring Strike actually did anything either. I was thinking what it did against. I think we were only just in range of the Ghasts, and they maybe 1 wound or something.
Yeah, it's a really cool model that Paul's got directly in front of him. I mean, obviously all of them are
Nagash,
really good.
yeah. Oh,
yeah.
That's N times Nagash. Awesome model. So yeah, this is what he does in the VATS. Again, not really coming at us because, as the Beast showed in the last battle, if you do that against Vermin, they can just take you apart, especially if you haven't got the range on them. So he's just slowly edging his way forward, not committing anything too much, just protecting himself.
Yeah, makes sense.
Which really just meant that after we prioritised dispelling his raises, puts onto our turn. And we shuffle around and move up like this.
Pincer movement.
Yeah. It's just shuffling, not really committing with anything too much, getting on that side for his Terrorgeist. And between magic and shooting, because we moved up so that we were within 18 of this, but not 24 of the other one, because it was slightly over, with our Doom Dreadmill, I think it's called. We managed to kill the Terrorgeist, which was crazy. Crazy good.
Crazy.
Especially without an Erin Strike as well. It was one of those that was just... we shouldn't... I don't think you should have done it, but we managed it, which is cool. And then Gutter Runners come on and kill the scoring bats.
Gosh.
Which
that's awesome.
Which is wicked. Is really, really good, because now that puts us in a really strong position scoring wise, and
it means you don't have to force it. Yeah,
we don't have to force it. We can just sit there and shoot and stuff. And it was just a mistake from Paul to leave him there. That was all, because the Gut Runners were always gonna shoot him off. They only got full.
There's not really anywhere safe that you can go when you've got an ambushing Gutter Runner.
Yeah, exactly.
Take out that unit. So.
Yeah, a great turn. Great turn. Objective and a Terrorgeist down. So check. We got 1 wound on this one, just with spare shooting. I think the Jezzails or something, or one of the catapults or something like that. I can't remember what it was from, but yeah, just an extra bit of shooting that they had. Bloody vermin. And we didn't even need the Dreadmill shot on the Terrorgeist, so that must have just been magic, which was insane. So we just used him to do 4 wounds on the gas.
Awesome.
Or this might have been that we did a couple of wounds on the ghast, and in addition to last turn's things as well. But onto his turn, and he moves up slightly more aggressively.
Well, he has to
flanks.
Push it a little bit now, doesn't he?
Yeah. So he moves up like that to Terrorgeist the Dreadmill, and to put some pressure on our left side, which now that our Vermin demon is not, he sort of can do. He screams, but only does 4 out of the 5 wounds needed. So he has 6 shots, and rolled 2 ones.
Ending on 2s.
Yeah. So happy days for us.
Massively.
This is onto our turn. We move our catapult into the ruins so that if he charges, he has to take some dangerous terrain. Because
sneaky rats.
Yeah, we're gonna lose it anyway, so it's just a case of doing that, trying to see what we can get out of it really, and shuffle around like this. We leave a long charge for the ghouls to see if they want it with the disciples.
Do they want it?
Yeah, do they want it? And this was one thing we debated, was going into the Shrieking Horror with our Vermin Demon, but actually. It's surprisingly spiky. So like if we go in and roll a couple of 1s for our hits and wounds, you say get unlucky and roll 3 between the 2 things, then actually we only do 2 wounds, so it's got 4 shots at strength 10 or whatever it is, and it can really hurt us. So we decided against it, and decided we've got enough from range to have a pop at it, because we killed the Terrorgeist last turn, so plan is just to carry on doing it.
Yeah.
The block at the bottom turned to face to see if we could do any counter charges if needed, and the footpads just continue. They're just like running circles in that corner. They have no idea what they're doing. They're just running around, seeing what they can do. But yeah.
It's like it would be a very good defense for ambushing units, but
yeah,
there aren't any.
Absolutely. We get Stars Line off on that, so we can get rerolls to hit and stuff, which is good for the shooting. He stops our magic, and we have a pretty poor magic phase. Apart from the Stars Line, don't get anything off.
I guess without an Erring Strike, you're down 1 devastating missile, aren't you?
Exactly. So he stopped the other one. We didn't get anything else, but the Dreadmill does do 3 wounds, which is cool. To it. So it means they have to dedicate into healing if they want that to be any good. Our Jezzails shoot at the monstrous cav and do 1 each quite nicely. So out of 6 as well. So I think each one had 2 on
really
it.
good.
And really, really
That
good.
makes the charge through the ruins even more ropey, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So, I think we did a few more here, maybe like 2 or 3, but he had got a heal off as well in the last turn. So, it was just
these Paul's models.
Yes, yeah, very cool.
They're beautiful, aren't they?
Yeah,
I know.
In fact,
we've said how good they are.
Yeah,
before,
all the guys
but...
down the club do some really good painting. Really good painting. I mean, it's good job we got Gubbo. The gut runners take off the next set of bats, so they've done pretty nice. Don't know whether that might just about be the points, but obviously with the scoring in the previous bats, they've definitely served their part.
And it's taking the chaff away. Chaff is worth more points than it actually stated on the sheet.
So we left it, and he tried it, but didn't get in, which was good for us. So we have a shorter charge there on our next turn, which is good.
That's the unit disciples, isn't it?
Yeah,
charging,
he charges only 1 into the catapult, which means he doesn't go into the ruins.
Oh,
very sneaky, very well done,
Mr. Paul. Out-sneaking the sneaky arm.
But he does move them up close to our Jezzails and stuff, ready to shoot them, or to charge them next turn, and obviously if they survive the shooting. So it's risk reward. He moves his units up slightly, not really that much, but slightly, and moves his Terrorgeist, which Shrieking Horror, back to shoot at the Gutter Runners, which he does.
They're a problem now, aren't they?
Yeah, especially as he gets a few heals off as well. I think we stopped a buff on the ghouls because we want to go into him now. Kills that and overruns. And that's where he ends up.
That's cool. Nearly back together.
Yeah.
The Brood.
So on our turn, we fail our charge. It's in the middle, which obviously is leaving pretty much a dead cert charge now.
Yeah. I guess it's not that much of a disaster, really, because you're still getting off your special attacks first, aren't you?
Yeah. So
are you still quicker than them, actually?
I think they're agility 4. They're agility 5 on the charge. I think we're agility 4.
I always forget that.
Ghouls are really good. Yeah, agility wise anyway. But yeah, we will get the initial ones off, but that's not so good against infantry sort of things. We do get stars align off on the Jezzails though to hopefully ping some more. I think we only do 1 wound though. Excuse me. To this guy.
How many wounds have they got each? Is it 3 or 4?
4, I think.
Obviously they'd have at least 3. But...
yeah. We miscast. That was either, if I go back to this one, that was either from the Jezzails. Again, not really, compared to last time, not really doing much, especially if we had stars line off. But in doing either that or a single wound to them, we miscast and did 2 to ourselves.
Ouch. Okay.
Excuse me. Which, on a Vermin demon is pretty gutting. Because he's only got 6. And he's 1,000 points. So
yeah, and he was probably like your reserve to deal with the monstrous revenants once they've got too close.
Gets a little bit dicey. So that was from magic and/or shooting. They charge into our cells, and obviously reload means we can't thing. We were kind of hoping we'd get rid of at least one of them in our last round. So the fact that they've done that, fair play to them.
I love those movement trays that Paul's got there that aren't really any point to them.
Well, that's their base size now. Because these are obviously aren't.
Oh, I see. They're not movement trays. They're actually making the unit bigger.
Yeah.
I'll forgive you then, Paul. Good thinking. Nice work.
The ghouls go in.
There were individual movement trays.
The ghouls go in auto.
Yeah.
And he gets a whole load of spells off to basically mean that because he's going first, he'll just wipe us out. So we'll do a few wounds, but he'll just smash them.
You'll get your toxic hit off.
Yeah, but it's still like with everything else going on. Yeah. That's us done. That's the way to kill them. So.
Ooh.
Well,
you're thinking.
Maybe we did have a stand and shoot then. I'm sure we didn't.
Well, something's wounded them a bit more.
We're taking them off now at this point. But so either that happened or we got crazy lucky in combat. But
that crazy looking combat. No way.
That might have been
lucky.
Us going. Oh, we've got to do the shooting or something like that. Because I can't see any other reason why they would have 3 each on them. That must be shooting.
Yeah, you didn't do a sneaky volley fire from your Seaguard unit that was on the other table, or anything?
I did, yeah. Always. But they do it, and just for future reference, this guy gets a vampiric, so regains a wound anyway.
Okay. Sure.
But yeah, I'm tempted to say that was through shooting, and we just didn't take a picture in between. Yeah, disciples just get. We do a decent amount. We clear off a rank.
Yeah,
which is still pretty good.
Pretty good going, actually.
Considering all the spells off, and that's how good they are, man. Because imagine if we charge into them.
Yeah,
it's just crazy, But yeah, so we did that with basically the tables against them, sort of thing, and the monstrous reverence go off the table, and this guy comes up here.
Okay. Yep. 3, 2, 1.
He continues to flee. In his.
And one of them dies from.
I think he goes off the board. I think they run so far they go off the board actually.
Yeah.
But our vermin demon comes up and charges the one with 1 wound. So we go for it. Go for it there. So we'll see how that plays out.
I guess now's the chance to deal with him while the other 2 need to come on without being able to charge.
Sure. Exactly right, yeah. So if we can separate him out, and Vermin Demon should kill him, because as he's better on the charge as well with lances and things like that. We move up our Dread Mill basically to have our last hurrah at the Shrieking Horror.
Yep.
Disciples just in front so that he can't charge us, and the disciples are in the flank of the ghasts, so just doing a bit of pressure. We get breath corruption off on them to shoot at something. He literally wipes the floor with the monster reverend and turns his face like this. And we made a bit of a mistake here in that we didn't face the vermin demon towards where the monster reverends were going.
I see.
We faced him towards the centre of the board instead of this way. Which we definitely should have done.
But yeah, that's not a great move.
So that was a big mistake on our part. Really.
And I bet you only realised that when Paul started bringing them back on.
Yeah, for sure. Because we just basically said, "All right, mop up whatever you want."
Yeah, pretty much.
So he turns to face and is there to hopefully for him scream the Dreadmill off, and be pretty safe. He gets a touch of the Reaper off on our Vermin Demon and does 3 wounds to it. But worse than that, we used all our dice to try and stop it, and didn't.
Oh no!
Which means he has enough dice to overpower us for Hasten the Hour, and that is a dead Vermin Demon.
That's a disaster.
In a 1 magic phase. Oh.
So actually, it didn't make any difference that you were facing the wrong way.
No. True, which is good.
But yeah,
kind of. But it was just like he rolled pretty well for the first one, Touch of the Reaper. But just
T3 wounds, isn't it? So if you roll,
just for whatever reason, just outdiced us, and we didn't get enough fizzle to be able to stop this. So it was just like, oh.
Boo-hoo.
But that's what you need against a vermin, right? You need a bit of luck like that. So and that's a big swing. Big swing. Gets the Dreadmill as well, so good turn. I mean, it's only 1 wound. He was always going to do that, really.
Yes.
I think he's only got 1 wound off on him as well, so it was one of those. This is how it looks at the end of that turn.
And his ghasts to face your disciples as well.
We actually, this is into our turn a little bit. We move our disciples back to have front facing of everything, so he doesn't charge us. Because even with the toxic on Terrorgeist, it's still pretty bad.
Yeah, it's amazing how much
mad.
weaker the vermin swarms look without that rat demon.
Yeah.
Vermin
For
demon
sure.
on the board.
It's a quarter of their army, like so. Yeah, crazy. And there wasn't much else going on because we've lost a lot of magic and stuff. So these guys both charged the catapult to make sure.
Yeah, and he can still turn around after the combat, can't he? So.
Well, this is his turn 6, and we went first.
Oh, I see.
So that is the
last
thing.
Points.
This is the last picture, and it's thankfully not blurry as well. But yeah, so basically, he clears that catapult as you'd expect. Isn't really able to do much else to any of our other units, and that is the end of the game.
Okay, so fair amount still on the board there.
Yeah, very cagey, but I mean, this is what we were saying. Obviously, I'd played the Beastman I want to say the day before, or in the morning, and then we'd had a bit of a break, and I'd gone to see Matlock, and then we played this, and Paul's like, yeah, I think I've got a few ways of dealing with the vermins and stuff like that. And he was really not confident that he was going to win, but just like, yeah, I want to try this out and try some things.
Yeah, I mean, you know that if you get 20'd, then you probably need to look at changing your list against a certain opponent. But if you get a nice stalemate, then you know that you can deal.
Yeah, so I mean, this shows the difference in approach as well. Like, Paul was very measured and careful and hiding to start off with, and slowly brought his stuff out. Whereas, not that we're the same army, but I was very gung ho and just was able to get taken out because that's what vermins can do.
So, before you show the result, was this you and Tony versus Paul, or was this Tony versus Paul with you sitting on Tony's side?
Oh no, I was on Tony's side for sure.
Oh, you were.
Yeah,
you are and we claiming some sort of responsibility, win or lose.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was.
I just wanted to check
us two versus Paul for sure. Like, Paul's a good player as well, so he knows what he's doing.
Oh, absolutely, he is. Yeah. Like, by my calculation, he lost a scoring unit, and you did not lose
all 5 on the table. You're correct.
Units.
So we won the objective.
Yeah.
Thanks to the gut runners, so well done there.
But that vermin demon going down is a big load of points, considering how much is still on the board. He's still got 2 of his 3 vampires as well.
Yeah, man. So yeah, exactly. So
and only one of those is giving up points.
I think with the vampires as they were as well, if we had charged one of them, even with 1 wound, our vermin demon would be likely to kill one of them because they got maximum 2 wounds out of, depending on which one we go after.
The vermin demon's AP 10, isn't he? So
5 attacks. I think hitting on 3s, wounding on 2s. I want to say, or maybe hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s.
Plus a magic phase to boost him up a bit.
We'd only need to do 2 out of those 5 attacks.
And you could duel one of them away as well.
Well, they weren't in a unit. They were both separate, so we wouldn't be. We would take them one.
Oh, they were both separate by that point. Yeah. Of course they would.
So if they survive, it's a bit scary, but realistically, you could take one of them. So yeah. So that was our biggest mistake. Was that? Although in the end, as you said, it didn't really matter. Paul's biggest mistake was the bats.
Yes,
for sure. Yeah. But it's hard when you're keeping them central, and
there's nowhere safe for them when gut runners are around. They could have easily come and just hunted them down.
So yeah.
What happened? What was the result?
The end result
poised
was a 10-10.
Hey, it looked about right. Yeah,
we're still all friends. But so
down on points, but you won the objective.
Yeah, got the objective pretty early, and we were pretty safe from losing the scoring unit because of the way we kept all of ours back. But yeah, it could have. I suppose if the vermin demon doesn't go, I mean, 1,000 points is roughly 3 victory points either way. So yeah, it was big. It was good on that front. So yeah, no, good game though. Very interesting.
Definitely.
Cagey is like a tactical battle sort of thing, but I don't know. I'm tempted to say I think you have to be against vermin. It's one of those.
And hope their range doesn't devastate it from the off.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think if you can try and mitigate their early game and nab some points. I don't know. There'll be lists, pyro-based lists that do wipe the floor with vermin. I guess divination against vermin swarms is pretty good.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah. Even after both of those, controlling and being against, I was like, vermin swarms are a good army. They're a good
I
army.
mean, my Saurian list went against stat rats vermins with divination in my bank. So yeah, I think that was one that Saurian won. So yeah, divination could be good against them as well.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, so it's very interesting. It's nice to play a different army as well. I know stat rats got them, but yeah. So yeah,
awesome.
A nice interlude.
Yes, I hope you enjoyed that different kind of battle with a different army under Lucky Six's control. Do put some comments in, etc. Tell us how much you'd like us to do things like that, where we battle with armies we're not really familiar with. And give us more comments on the battle itself. And good to see both Paul and Tony in action on the same table. So that was nice.
Yeah, man.
Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, do all the social media stuff as well. You know more about that, Lucky Sixes.
Oh yeah, Facebook, Twitter, forum. Even just like we say all the time, guys. Just loving all the comments you guys keep putting on and keep getting us engaged and stuff. So yeah, keep it up. Any list improvements? Any ways to deal with vermin? Who is the best couple of armies to deal with vermin swarms? I think they're very. I guess one of the most RPS armies in Ninth Age at the minute. And yeah, what things are likely to change in their army book? They're like next up after Dreads? Are they?
I thought it was Equitane next.
No, it might be.
I might be
one
wrong.
of those.
I might be wrong.
Anyway.
No,
yeah.
I think the Equitane team's just been announced, but I don't know if Vermin are in between now and then.
Sure.
I wouldn't like to be held on that. I don't know.
But yeah.
But we also have the Infernal Dwarf Civil War tonight. Hopefully, all being well.
If you're watching this on the day of release.
If you're watching this on the day that it is released.
Yeah.
Then don't forget to check us out in that.
And if not, and you're interested in the new Infernal Dwarves, then check out our previous videos. They'll all be uploaded anyway for you to watch whenever. But if you can watch us live tonight, do it. Check in, say hi.
Come and join the party.
And give us some tips on ID, because we sure of hell don't know what we're doing.
Not a clue. Sweet. All right, thanks very much for that, Lucky Sixes. And we got one more battle for you on your weekend away before we go back to the norm. So
yeah, man.
Look forward to that.
Awesome.
Right. Cheerio.
See you later.